I'm in the infield, all right? You know, I now want to stay away from straight up. What do I mean by straight up? Right? Well, no, if I'm on defense, you're playing straight away. You're not playing pull side, you're not playing oppo, right? What I want to do is stay away from straight up. And sometimes it's going to happen. The guys are straight up guys, that's what you got to do. But I want to try to, what am I going to pull more? Fastball or curveball or changeup? Which one am I pulling more? Right? You get a soft toss and lefty. They're going to pull that guy probably even his fastball. So we got to know who's pitching. Then we got to look at the body size, right? There's a little bit difference between that 1-2 hitter and that 3-4-5 hitter, right? And there's this physical difference, right? Look at your shortstop, second base, center fielders. Are those guys that can run, right? So there's things we know, and you got to know what position they're at before they even get up, right? And there's so many things. So that's going to tell you, right? Now we go down to what is being thrown. So you've got to know what's being thrown to what that hitter is going to do. Now you got to look at, okay, what's the score? Because I'm more aggressive and free swinging when I got about a 4-run lead, 5-run lead. If I'm down by 1, down by 2, I'm probably taking a lot more defensive, trying to milk the count, which means what? I'm not going to get so aggressive, which I might not get so far. My barrel's not going to get out. I'm less likely to pull the ball. Not saying you're not gonna, but you got to play odds, right? Now I'm going to go with a guy, the 3-4 hitter. They're there because they're going to swing it, and I'm going to probably more opt to want to pull side on them right away without even seeing them swinging. All right. Then I look at the count, and I know my pitcher's velocity, right? What kind of pitcher he is and stuff. Does he hit his spots and everything else? I got to put that all in sequence and get away from straightaway. But sometimes you just don't know, and straightaway's the way it. But what you got to do is, I see so much, even at my high school. I mean, if the dirt had grass, you'd kill it just sitting in the same spot. It just drives me nuts. 1-2 count. I'm like, oh my God! Everybody's grandma knows here comes a curveball, and you're sitting here staying in the same spot. Drive me nuts. Right? What I want to do is, everybody here, what you try to do is be the coach who's calling pitches, or be the catcher. And I would sit there and go, I'm going to throw the screwball. Of course, you don't have that yet. I know this guy, and I know what's going to come. I know the pitcher. So before, as they're throwing around, whatever happened that time up, and then he's doing stuff, I'm already looking to move, and I play short. I play playing in that 5.5 hole. Because I know what's coming. He just fouled that pitch up. Boom, here comes the sinker by his feet. The only way, if he hits it, he's going to hit it over here. And there's times I went, oh no, fastball away, right? But you gotta gamble, because if you get into it, you understand it, you start reasoning why, and start asking coaches questions. Why do we throw here, and how to set up hitters? You're going to know it's going to help you as a hitter, but also it's going to help you position yourself defensively. And what you got to do, as soon as that arm goes forward, you got to bust butt about 2 steps over and be ready. What happens if I go like this and I'm already moving, and you see a shortstop miss moving this way? Moving to the pull side. What's coming? Oh my God, yeah. So you can't do it too soon, because if you're out of position, you're just out of position. But you just you got to say, hey, you know what? 90% of the time I want to be right. I always blamed it on the pitcher by calling the wrong pitcher. So I was always right. That's what I thought. Right. So you just got to risk and reward, and sometimes you're going to win more than lose, because most of the hits, where are they at? I mean, they're in the hole and up the middle. Right. I played against Carew, who you guys don't know, Boggs, you probably don't remember. Those guys would never hit it straight up. Never. But I'd play in the hole, and he'd put up there. I'd play in the middle, he'd play over here. The only time these guys would hit it right here, right at me, it was over my head. I mean, that's why they're that good. Sometimes it just doesn't matter. Right? But where you're facing and keep on going, even yourself, you guys, and that's what we'll have to do, is we'll learn how to back control. That's huge, guys. I wish that's the one thing if somebody would have taught me, is back control. I would see the ball and let it, and I just let it rip and go. And you just didn't really get into understanding and having back control, right? And stuff like that. Did anybody know what hitting the ball square means? Go ahead.
Like right in the sweet spot of the barrel.
Yes, that's a good one, because I used to think it meant hit hard, right? No kidding. But you know what it is? It's the square angle, the flat bat. You're hitting it here, right? If I have a tree and this is an axe, right? I'm not going to hit the tree like this, because it's gonna hurt. I have more strength here. So if you had a hammer, same way, you're square. You have more strength right here when you hit the ball with a bat flat. It's not going to happen every time. But see, that's stuff I didn't even know. No one told me. And that's simple. It took, 15 seconds. So all you want to try to do, no matter what, it's not going to happen. You're going to be letting the barrel get out, because he's going to fool you. That's their job, try to get you out front. They're going to beat you with a fastball. It's going to happen. But if you know, I got to try to be here, because I'm stronger here than here. than here, right? I'm stronger. So even if I get out front, but I hit the ball, I keep the bat flat, I have more pop. And then that way I get a better chance to get it through. Because hitting when you square up perfect and you hit it hard, we all get hits, right? You all do. But it's a part of that gray area of having where you're a little bit late or a little bit early where you still got a chance to get a hit. Yeah, you didn't hit it great and on the screws and oh, your timing was a little bit off, but that's the pitcher's job too. So what you got to do is build your gray area, right? And this is like about hitting stuff and batting practice. When I want to play and we're not playing to win, I mean, I always want to win. I always play to win, but I'm not going to be strategically trying to win everything and bunt and doing stuff. I'd rather you swing at balls than take strikes. Because good hitters, when you become a good hitter and confident, you're just looking to hit, and your eyes say, I like it. Now, how do you know you can't hit a pitch? If I'm a little defensively going, oh, now I hit. Well, now it's too late. But maybe not now at your age, but when they start getting at the better high school guys, a little bit of hump, it's going to be too late for you to say, oh, where is it at? Well, now by me. Instead of I'm going to hit, and if my eyes like it, I don't care where it's at. And there'll be games if we get together and we do stuff, I want you to do it. Now, obviously, the second one you swing at your eyes, we're going to talk a little. So your eyes like that one? Is that what it was? But I'd rather you not worried about, be aggressive, make aggressive mistakes, and you will learn. Because you know what? So many times you're going to swing and miss at this. You're going to figure out I don't like that pitch, right? But if I touch the stove and it's hot, guess what? You probably won't touch it again. Best way to learn, right? If you steal, I want you to steal. That means that's when you find out, okay, I didn't get a good jump. But if I sit there and wait for a good jump and I'm not sure, I don't learn anything. And the easiest thing to do is steal third, but that's always, people are kind of tentative, right? No, I'm not sure. That's the easiest thing to do. At my age, I think I still can. Maybe not, but, right? But it's the easiest. But I want you to get a good jump. Get aggressive. When we're on the base, I'd rather if you're still on first base, and you're stealing, I'd rather you get picked off at first than thrown out at second. That's what I'd rather do, right? Now, if you're not stealing, you get picked off, we're talking. Right? What's going on? Watching a movie, what girl you see over here, right? Come on, there's got to be something that's distracting you, right? So what we do is teach aggressiveness. Same thing here. This is what we do on defense is I want teaching aggressiveness. Look past the page and what's in front of you, all right? Look beyond. I want you to look, and size everybody up. Profile them up and look and see. And sometimes you get a Chase Utley there weighs 130 pounds and it's like one swing you go, ooh, he's not a skinny little guy, right? So after a swing you'll adjust, but right away I want you to be right away. I want you to start getting off straight away. And same thing in the outfield, guys, right? For one shift you got to shift the other one. How many times you see, and I see it all the way to high school, guys, they're fouling balls off and everybody else and their mom and dad are talking about he's late on the fastball, but what do we do? He stands still. It's like it drives me nuts. Let's move. Somebody move. I don't care if you're first baseman. Shift everybody. If you're the only one that's being thinking, shift everybody over here. Now, it doesn't mean here comes a curveball and no. Let's be smart about it. Let's see what's being thrown. But the next fastball, boys, he can't catch up. Let him prove it. Okay. So there's things like that. What you want to do is look ahead and look at what type of hitter he is. Size him up. And you haven't seen him swing yet, but let's see. Where's he hitting the lineup? That should tell you. Because hopefully the coach is not too stupid. Right? We're not putting our 9-hitter, like I was a 9-hitter forever, he's not going to, I'm not hitting fourth, guarantee it. Right? So there's a reason why they have those people there and you go with it. Right? Where's our fast guys? Where do they hit? Where else too? 8, 9. That's right. So there you go, right? And stuff like that. And where's our better, more athletic guys possibly? Short, second, center, right? Catchers, first base, can they run? Normally no, because if you're Biggio, you move to second base. There's some guys, but right, not that many. Eventually, if you catch, you don't run because you do that for about how many years, and you're not gonna. So you start sizing themselves up, right? Thicker guys are most likely not gonna run. Thinner, springy, just watch how they walk. There's things you can do that's just tipping you. So that means if I get a ground ball and that guy's light on his feet, internal clock better tell me I better get rid of it, right? So every time there's something, and this is not on it here, so I tell you I go on a different rabbit trail. And when I do my infield stuff, I teach everybody at shortstop, right? Now I had a great saying from a kid over here at Landfill, and actually transferred over somewhere else, but he's a catcher. I go, bud, I just want to let you know, you're not going to be a shortstop, you're kind of slow. And he goes, well, but I do a little infield sometimes, and I figure if they think I can maybe look good at shortstop, they're going to think I have a clue at catching. I go, I'm going to steal that. That's pretty good. So somehow it's going to help you. You know, if he plays third, what it does, while I teach stuff, it'll help you at third not to get in between hops, right? Now, if I have good hands, greatest hands in the world, but I get in between hops, or if I have just so-so hands, but I get nothing but big hops and short hops, who's making errors?
You.
Me? Yeah, I'm both guys. We're probably right. But which one?
The one who gets the short hop.
That's right. I don't even have to have that good of hands, you know, because I don't care how good you are. If you get in betweeners, you're gonna, you'll be bodying up like a third baseman. It's gonna happen, right? And and you know where we get our good hops? It's all in our feet, right? Everything, 100% in our feet. Fielding is in your feet, right? And I don't have to have hands, because then if I catch good hops, I don't even have to have great hands, right? Because I remember playing like it, and I didn't know at the time, but I'd have people, my competitor and stuff like that, well, you never get bad hops. I'm going, right? No, I don't. I didn't know why, but I was aggressive. And not that I had a big study, I didn't do any kind of big, huge study and do graphs, but what I figure is every step I take, no matter how slow, every foot I take, doesn't matter how slow, is 2 steps for that runner. If you're running full speed, right? Doesn't take that long, 2 steps, right? Okay? So every step I take, no matter how slow, every foot I aggressively get the ball. I can't do it as much at third, right? Because it's in on me, but I can at least get 1 step. That's 2 steps down that line. That guy's not getting down. Worst thing you can do anywhere is letting the ball play you, sitting back. Doesn't mean you go crazy and go charge the ball without any kind of clue about, I got to find a hop. So all you're doing is moving forward. Doesn't have to be fast. Just got to be move forward. Okay? If it's hit hard, you move forward, you're going to stop. You will stop. Well, that's hit hard. You got time. What you want to do is get, how can I make that guy go down the line closer to home and I haven't even touched the ball? Right? There's other things I'll do about technique and turn, but for the most part, if you think about that, that's stuff that normally people don't think about. And that could be anywhere in my, what position I'm at. If I got a ground ball, I'm playing left field. I got a ball at me. How many times you see it where they sit, especially in the big leagues, they just sit there and just wait. And I'm an ex-shortstop. I'm just driving nuts. I go, charge the ball. Get that. You got an arm like your wife. What are you doing? You got to go get it. But every step is at least 2 steps for that runner. And they don't go get it because they just want to be careful and not make the error. And here you go, so I get paid to hit home runs. So even in the outfield, think about that. You got to be in control. You can't force and go crazy and bonsai after it. Now I get a in between hops. Same thing as the infield. Key is getting in between is short hops or big hops. That's all we want. You got to go get it. You don't know what hop you're going to get until you start getting closer. But if I'm standing still, then it's like, oh no, I'm in trouble. But if I'm going forward, I can go, oh no, and stop. I'm okay. But I got to be going forward, right? Not fast. If I have to, it's not hit hard, swing and bunt. I'm going to go fast, right? You'll speed it up. But if I'm thinking forward, that's why infielders, when they first go in the outfield, what's the number one rule for an outfield when it's hit to you? That's right. And what's infielders? I'm going forward. So when I go out there later in my career, because, when an outfielder, I'm not going to hit 30 home runs. I was having fun because there's something new, but I'd be going, oh no, all day long, because my instincts are going forward. And plus, I couldn't imagine. I said, man, that ball seems so far away. You couldn't see nothing. I felt like I was out of the game. Couldn't see signs, couldn't see nothing. So it's like opposites. You got to know, right? But my natural instincts as an infielder, right, is I want you guys to get feet and go aggressive. Because what you'll find is you'll find the hops will find you. You won't really find it. The hops just kind of happen. There they are. You'll stop or you'll continue, right? Okay? And then know the count. We talked about that, right? Because we're more aggressive. 0-2, 2-2, 1-2, 2-0. Which one am I more 3-1 count? 2-2 count. Which one am I more aggressive?
3-1.
Right. We're going to let it fly. So you know that now. What am I going to do as defense? And I got a right-hand hitter. What am I doing? Or lefty. I'm going to start playing pull side, even if it is a fastball. Maybe not that 8-9 hitter, because that's where the lack of strength, like I have. Depending on who's on the mound, you gotta evaluate everything, right? And the key is evaluate everybody's swing. You're not gonna sit there and go, you're pulling your shoulder. You're not gonna correct anybody, even your teammates. I can't. My 11 years of scouting, because I scouted with the Braves and the Indians, and playing. I can never watch a baseball game just by watching anymore. I can be entertained by basketball and football, and I don't want to know any of this stuff. But I can't help it. At any age, can't watch a game and break down the guy's swing. Oh, he's doing this. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's never going to go pull the ball with that swing. I can't help it. It's ruined. All right, but that's what you got to do, because every time I see a game, everybody sees someone swing, I'll evaluate guys on deck. Right? If I'm getting one of these and I'm barring my arm and I'm swinging this, boy, guess what? He's not pulling it unless I'm throwing Uncle Charlie or changeup or something, right? He's not going to pull nothing. Right? I say that. Or either that or he's going to have to early commit. He's got to commit really early. Okay? And there's stuff, there's people that's going to fool you. You ever guys remember Eric Karros? Ex-Dodger? We do.
Yeah, I
Okay?
know.
Okay, there you go. Anyways, but he you know, a lot of years played in the All-Stars and all that stuff. You know, I think he hit 280s at a lifetime. Real good hitter. Right? And I remember my first year scouting, and I played against him, you know, but I didn't see it. I was watching, and then I was learning how to watch it in scouting eyes, all right? And this is what can help you, what can lead on to it. Guys, I just knew, I could see, I remember playing against him, and I could see that barrel coming around. I had a great jump off him, because you could see he was coming around here sweeping, and boy, you knew, early on, you knew if he was early or late. So what I'd do is I'd start leaning. I could, God, oh, he's gonna pull the ball, but yeah, he did. Like that, you know, every time. But what I found out, I scouted, I go, God, guys, you know, I asked some of the scouts, I go, what round did he go in? You know, or no, I go, first thing I asked, I go, did he always have this slow bat? Maybe I just wasn't. When he goes, they all laughed. You know, like, yeah, he did. I go, well, what round did he go in? I go, about 10th round. Because you're a slow first baseman, right-handed hitter, 6 foot tall. You seen the size? That's, I mean, every tool he had right there is a niche down of whatever all big boys are at first base. But one thing he has, and this is what's key, you don't have to have the best swing, Hunter Pence, right? Ugliest swing you ever lived. And this is the same thing Eric had. He had great, he squared up, he knew where barrel was, and like playing tennis, right? And he hit the ball square and flat, no matter what. He knew how to, if the guy was throwing a little bit of heat, he knew how I got to get cheated. I got to cheat and get going a little earlier. He knew timing. Timing is huge. Now, how do we teach that? You know, I'm still searching the exact words. But it's about you trying to figure it out, right? If it was an X, I always say, guys, it's just like if I hit that X button. If I hit that X button, start to swing, and it's the same tempo, every time this guy's blowing gas, you guys are going to figure out, I better hit that X a little earlier, aren't you? Well, it's the same thing. You got to understand, right? If someone's throwing slow and everything else, what do some people say? And I hope you guys, I mean, just in case you say this, but this is like putting a Band-Aid on a hole in a dam. It ain't never going to work. And they might get lucky. But how many times they tell you move up in the box because the guys throw slow?
A lot.
Never. Okay, that's the worst thing in the world. It doesn't do anything. The only time you move up, if the guys everything consistently low. So if everything's consistently low, I move in the box. Now when it crosses that plate, it becomes here. Or if I'm looking curveball, which is normally low. So when you think a curveball is coming, get right up there. But if I'm a catcher, at this level they're not gonna. But if I'm calling pitches and I see you moving up, I'm not throwing you curveballs. Because if I throw it where I want it, knee high, it's on the plate. It's a ball. I got to throw one about right here, waist high. I got to throw you fastballs now, right? So maybe at this time you don't. But what you do, right? Think about the Xbox thing. Hit the X, right? If my tempo is this, right? That's it, right? That's my tempo. You guys should all know it. You be on the deck. So what you do this right here. That's yours. It never changes. Never changes, right? Whatever it is. Once I start, and I put right at barrel where I contact. That's what I do, right? So I'm looking at this guy, hey, really new guy coming in, let's do it. Let's figure out when do I start? You know? And that's what it is. If this guy throws slower, what do I do to speed him up? Think about the X. Damn right. If he throws harder, load earlier. And it can be that simple. It's like, you know, if you really want to do it, it's like throwing soft toss. You ever get, you know, fooled on playing soft toss? Yeah, you do.
Wait, what?
We're in trouble. You're not listening. You know? Right? You know what I mean? So it's the same concept, even though we all know it's a lot harder than that. But it's the same way. If I time it and I'm ready to hit and the ball's in the hitting zone and I'm in a good posture and a good position because I time it right, I haven't even swung yet. I get in a good situation to be able to square up on the ball. You know? Okay? So it doesn't mean a guarantee because round ball, round bat, hit it square is pretty still hard. Right? But at least increases my chance of success. Right? This guy throws harder, I got to start earlier. I can make a guy throwing 60 miles per hour throw 100. Right? If you think about it, I start so late it's blowing right by me. I don't get my foot down, I'm not even ready. Well, that's the same concept. So all this does is about slowing up. It means it's not teaching you. It can work for that time, that at bat, that day, maybe that year. Right? And keep on moving this way. But eventually when you move to high school, I'm going to throw different speeds of fastballs. I'm going to different speeds of curveballs. So now what? Were you going to be halfway out of the box? You can't. You might as well learn the real way and start learning now. This simple stuff will just start later. Okay, now start earlier. And it can be that simple, but then you got to physically go through it to trust it, right? It's like, hey, I'm gonna fall and I'm gonna catch it. You fall and I'm gonna catch it. Well, you're gonna, if we did it 5 or 6 times beforehand, you're gonna trust me more. That first time can be scary. You know what I mean? So when you do it, when you experience it, and you're going, oh, now I feel. And that's why the older you get, the more you experience failure and success. The more you experience, the more you have more data back and go, oh, I know what you're talking about now. I remember feeling that, and it's about hitting speed, right? See, here I go on the rabbit trail. I started out with defense, and I'm off on a hitting thing. You know what I mean? But let's see what the score is, right? More aggressive, right? Stuff like that. How many runners on and all that stuff. Where they're going to be at. What they're man on second. What are they trying to do, guys? What are you trying to do? Man on second, no outs. Oh, no, huh? It's going to score. All right. I want to hit a home run every time. We're going to move them over, right? Okay. So yeah, worry about the bunt, but as you move up, you want to hit the ball. If you're right-handed, I want to stay inside the ball. What am I trying to do? So what is the pitcher going to try to do? Well, curveballs and change to make you come around and hit the ball a third and ground out and you didn't do your job. Right? So you on defense got to know that same situation. Size up the guy, what he is. If he's a bar arm guy like this, well, for him to pull the ball, he's going to have to early commit. Right? So that means he's not going to be able to stay inside the ball as well. He's going to have to really hit the ball back here instead of using his hands and get inside. It's going to be harder for him. And the pitcher has to make a mistake in the sense of throwing away. Man on second, no outs. I want my pitcher throwing nothing but off-speed pitches and balls inside. I don't want to do the job for you. Lefties, I don't want to throw the ball inside. I'm trying to make you hook it, right, or bunt or something, right? So now know that as in defense, what these guys are trying to do tells you what are you going to do, right? Okay, and all this stuff right here, what we're talking about, really is all before he even lets go of the ball. You're evaluating, you're looking. That's called anticipation. Right? Trying to figure out what I do. Now that tells me, here's what I do on defense. We're playing just on batting practice, right? I mean, after you've done your ground balls, everybody taking ground balls, taking batting practice. After that, instead of going in the outfield and shagging, which, you got to do that part too, is I practice, I want you guys to start doing this, is you don't have a catcher, right? Because when I'm sitting here and I'm calling a fastball, it's a righty hitter, right? And all of a sudden he sets something away, right? So I'm kind of think, I better play up the middle, but what happens if the catcher does this? As the ball's coming. Well, that ball's coming, he's missing his target, and now he's coming inside. You watch the glove, it's huge. Once I know this type of pitch, type of pitcher, now I sit there and I put myself to where I think he's supposed to hit his spot, right? He's supposed to throw it right here, now, and then you gotta be worried about, yeah, he's calling a fastball in, but Johnny doesn't hit his spots very well. Well, then you can't go so crazy. You gotta play somewhere in the middle because inside means outside, all vice versa. So you gotta play your smarts that way, right? And but what I do is the next tip is watching that catcher's glove, right? Now, just like stealing a base, just like anything else, if I get a better jump, he hasn't made the contact. If I get a lean this way or I get a lean that way, and that's where I was the slowest guy, I guarantee you. On the 60, if everybody ran the 60 in the big leagues, I was the slowest guy, right? I mean, but I got, maybe not Cal Ripken, in the early days maybe I would have lost. But I mean, but I had more range than most people. If not everybody, but other than Ozzie Smith, hey, that's just a rabbit. But now why is that? Because I had better jumps. I had a lean. Doesn't mean sometimes it felt like I had a whole step taken off. I know I didn't, but it felt like I was really leaning in the pitch, and it was just easy. I had a good running start, right? So if you and I are racing, and everybody here is gonna be faster than me, right? But if I'm gonna run here and go 10 yards, because that's about what 10, 15, not even 15 yards, right? If I'm an infielder. That's all I'm going. All I can be faster is about 10 steps, right? At the most. So as young as you are and fast as you are, and I'm slower, but I get a better jump, I get a running start, who's going to win? I'm going to win. Because it's only for about 5 yards, 10 yards, right? So if I'm getting a better jump, and you're faster than me, there's something that you're doing wrong that you can get better on just because I can get better jumps. That's all you got to do. So when I'm watching BP, and there's no catcher, you can't see the catcher's glove unless you guys are, having a catcher, but you just watch the barrel coming around and you just start leaning one way before he makes contact. And you're going to be wrong. And I was wrong, even when I was doing it good, I'd be out there practicing the field just to get the feel. And after you get old and you're 30 years old, you kind of inbred it in you, right? But until you guys get that age, you start working at it, right? And start get off the edge of being uncomfortable. Start guessing, but don't just guess for the giggles of it. Try to see if you see it's an in-pipe. Watch his approach and see if you see that ball away. If he starts doing this and hitting, he's starting to lean. What's that telling you? Probably ball's away. So you should be leaning this way on a right-handed hitter. You know, so those things you do and just try to practice is seeing and trust yourself, trust your eyes, and try to believe in your eyes, right? And then your instincts take over, and that's when things take off. Now, if I can take off, get a running start, and it really means just a lean, right? If I get a lean, you're flat-footed, but I get a lean, you're gonna be 2 steps behind me, and that's a big deal in the infield, isn't it? That's a big deal. So everything in infield, that much means a lot. How many times you get a ball, you got it, but you can't quite. You got so much energy going one or the other, you can't adjust and throw them out. But if I just had half a step, I could have gathered myself or somehow anticipated me to change direction. That's enough to get them out. And we're only talking that much, right? And that's a big deal, okay? So that's why it all starts of all these little tiny stuff of edges that you can take advantage of before the guy even, lets go of the ball. He hasn't even swung the bat yet, and I'm telling you all these little things that you can do to try to get you that next level to get a better jump. You don't have to. You can be the slowest guy here, but if I get good jumps, you could lead the team in stolen bases as long as you're hitting 350, right? You get on base enough. You can't steal first. I found that out, right? But so if you figure that out, guys, of how I do it, I just need a better jump. Just like if I say, hey, I'm going to steal this time, it's a fastball. I got to get a jump. I got to have a good jump, right? Now, if I take off and go, and I think in my mind that wasn't a good jump, should I keep on going?
Yeah.
No. Who said that? If I know I had a bad jump into the fastball, I know, and I'm not, unless I know I'm a speedy, I got to say no. I got to take 2 steps, stop. Didn't have a good jump, right? But if I know this is coming, I don't have to have a great jump. So I had to play the guy. Now he's at Vanderhook. You guys, he's a Cal State Fullerton coach right now, all right, head guy. And I was playing against him, and I was just at Jace junior college ball, so I wasn't as good as him at the time. Meanwhile, he didn't get drafted, and I did. So, right? He's catching, and he thought is all this and that. And I've known him because we played against each other. You know those guys that you play against. Now he's there, and anyways, and I seen him probably like 5 years later. He still remembers it. After we get done playing college ball, I go off to my college, and he, then we play, and I play pro ball, and he's back to coaching. And he goes, oh, remember that time we played? He goes, you guys stole like 5 or 6 times on me. You guys were so lucky. You wanted curveball every time. And I tell him, I go, wasn't lucky. I go, we peeked in, saw the signs. His jaw just about dropped. And here's at a 4 years ago, just I loved it. I would have never told him it was during the season, though. I would have told him after we're done when I know I'm going to play him again. But this is what I was taught by Dave Snow. He used to be at Long Beach State, Loyola, and all that stuff. Of just, there's more than just what's on the front page, guys, right? And it's so simple. It's right there in your grasp. It's everybody. You don't have to be the fastest, And when you get on the field, it's hard to explain here, but second base, you're on second. It's easy. It's so easy to steal third. Easy. But we got to do it. You can't be afraid to get burnt. You had to have the concept of understanding to say, boy, yeah, it wasn't a good jump. And then you got to feel what a good jump is. What I do is I get my phone or get somebody else and have the pitcher, just like at first base, where I have, pitcher and the guy you're stealing in the same picture, and we do it, we film it. Once they take off, and you can slow-mo on this, and you'd be surprised how many times that foot's about right here, and before that guy takes off. Oh! It's just, look how many steps that is, you're just giving away. And the guy, you guys will sit there and go, no, I had a good jump. Okay, come here, let's look at this film. Right? No, you didn't. So what you got to do is be honest with yourself, understand what's a better jump, right? Cool, good rule of thumb. I'm stealing third, so when you guys go on here, so when we do get it, if I want to be able to take off before he lifts his foot up, first base, no. But I want to have some kind of lean, because I can do this at a second, can I? At first base start doing that, they're picking all day, see you later, right? Because the guy's standing right there. Shortstop seconds are behind me. If I got a shortstop second baseman on the bag, you can. Chew out the third base coach because he's not yelling back, right? Because what do we say? Okay, more, whatever the words are that you can. Okay, so I'm getting you out here. So what I want to do is anybody, right? And if you're slower, that just means you can need maybe a step and a half. You need a good rolling lead. So anytime I'm going to take off to third, if I'm already taken off, this guy hasn't left his foot. Oh, I got it. But if all of a sudden he lifts his foot and I take off, too late. Guaranteed too late, right? No way. All right. Now you get into how many looks. Right? You should know, as soon as a man on second, I hope someone else is on second before me. Well, not if I'm leading off, I won't be on second. But you know, man, I want somebody else, and then I can look and see how many looks. I can see how many, if he's one of these guys, 1, 2, 3, I love those people. Or you get these pitchers that do this and take off, or they do this shift. Before they, oh, I love those. I can still steal, right? They're giving you, they haven't even lifted their foot yet, they're tipping my hand. I'm seeing, I want to look and know everybody's move. I want to know how fast. So you're not eating popcorn, trading seeds, and saying, hey, I think your sister's cute. We're not talking about that. Someone's on base, we're looking and educating ourselves because I plan on getting a hit by pitch, walk, something. So when I'm on first or second, everybody else, I already know what he does. And there's so many times pitchers, I mean, when you guys pitch, creatures of habit, right? And a lot of times, I mean, it's like this, usually 1, 2, 3, I don't know how many times is that saying go. Go. It's always that same tempo, right? So we want to know. I want to know if that's what he's always doing. So when I get on, I see something that I get a better jump than just using my brute speed. Okay? You know, I don't know what else. Let's talk about soft hands. And what's the difference between soft hands, hard hands? I'm like, you're not going to get the answer, guys. Come on, speak. Huh? You know, you got to be quiet. You're really disrupting the whole thing. Huh?
Well, we tell you guys to have soft hands. What does that mean? What
Just guess. You're going to be wrong.
When we get the
What's that
ball
mean?
to be receiving it, like,
There you go.
Well, well, yeah, but I mean, but soft hands, and right now, if I took ground balls, and I had good hands, I had really good hands, okay? But if I took ground balls now, I wouldn't have good hands, because I'd be going, I wouldn't trust my eyes, I'd be going, oh, where's it coming? Now I tense up, right? Soft hands is just having this right here, soft. Not so much giving, all right? I'm not into that stuff, because you know, if I'll get that in-between hop, I'm going to give as it goes, because in-between hop, but if it has a regular hop, I don't need to do this. I should have this. I want the ball just, you know, see the difference? Where I'm just totally dead, I'm numb, all right? Now, just like I bunt, guys, all right? I'm going to stay connected. Just like I bunt, I don't do this unless I'm in the big leagues, and, right? And you see all those guys, the worst habits in the world, they can't sack bunt. But they're moving the bat, or they're getting there too late. But what are we taught? I know you're taught this. Get here, then stay connected. See how connected? Because that way here, then I can deaden it. And how do you deaden that ball? Do you grip it tight or do you grip it loosely?
tight.
Tight.
Wait, to,
So you're number 3-4 hitter, you never bunt. Okay, loosely. So when it goes, I don't need to do this. I just need to grip that thing loosely so it just deadens and it just kind of sticks to the bat. Same thing. I want to keep it loose and stay connected. When I'm going to the ball, see, I'm connected. I may be moving, but I'm connected. I'm not going to do this stuff, right? Doesn't mean I can catch. I can do it. I can catch it, but it's harder. And I want all the odds in my favor as best I can. All right? Because if I'm a good fielder, you're talking about 97%, you know, percentage that you're throwing everybody out. You're not making errors. That's every ground ball. Every ball that's thrown to you, you're not making 3 errors. You have 2 errors in one game, you got a long ways to go. Don't you? So we got to be really particular. We got to make sure we want to have the highest percentage at all times for my chances of success. Right? I made errors, and I used it just because I made errors when I made it. It wasn't so much when I made it, is either scorekeeper screwed up and it was really a hit, or if I just gave this, I didn't respect the ground ball, like, oh, this is a piece of cake. And I lowered my concentration. Oh, this is easy. All of a sudden, king. It's like, oh, you know? And it was all on me because I didn't respect it. I didn't give it that respect that I can ground balls. Everything has to be, you know, your attention has to be, you got to do everything right. You start getting, and it's not like I was lazy. It was getting so easy and I was just getting bored, you know. And Omar Pascual said this one time later. I'm going, finally someone else, you know, he got bored. Which means you're not like, oh, I'm bored watching flies. This has become so easy to where you just don't really, oh, this, I don't even have to hardly bend down because I'm so good. And then here comes the errors, right? So what you gotta do is you gotta do all the checkpoints, boys, and just think about it. When you're feeling, this is where I want to be. This is how loose it is, right? When I get that in between hop, guess what happens? And it does, because that hop's coming somewhere. So now it's hard hands, right? That's the difference between what's going to bounce more. If I grip the bat more here or loosely, same concept. So I want to be loose. Where that ball is bouncing, I got to be able, even though I'm running or going to the ball, this is going to be numb, right? I got to be numb right here, because this is where the ball and it'll stick, right? If you get these balls in ricochets, usually what happens is not only because he's catching in the heel, because he's tensing up. You got to be relaxed. And that ball, just like, you know, that ball will just find you. It'll give naturally, and it'll stick to your glove. You ever have guys that just catch and just seem to stick? And that's what they're doing. It's just because they're relaxed. You know, but if I have anxieties, or if I'm tense, or if I go, oh no, or I'm gonna, guess what we all do? Because like I said, right now at my age, I'd be tensing up all the time. Because I don't trust my hands, don't trust my eyes, and that's what you're doing. You got to get ground balls where you trust, you know, any bad hop I can handle, no need to panic. Okay, we got to bury your head. I see a lot of problems with your age and everything else, always catching up high. Okay, one of the things I like, and we don't have to do it, but you know, because all I care about, guys, catch the ball, throw the ball. After that, who cares? But do it 97% of the time, right? If you're not doing 90% of the time, that's when I start saying, okay, let's try to, you know, if I'm a shortstop and this guy can run, we got to try to, like I said, about charging the ball, getting one step, it's 2 steps to that runner. How else? What else am I doing? Do I have a big load and a big windup? Because the bigger load, the bigger windup, right? That guy's going to get down the line. I got to shorten up, don't I? Right? Can't throw like an outfielder. Have a big load and have carry. Okay, so what else do I got to do? Right? I got to figure out some other stuff I got to do. And this is what I've always done, and I didn't do it every time, but I practice it. But if I get a ball here, everybody has balls. You ever do here and then you separate from here? You know, which is fine. Once you get it cleanly in your glove, well, you're fine. You're going to come up. No problem, no hiccup. Right? But you ever get the ball and you can't find it? You're sitting there trying to find it, then you finally get it, then you go up. How long does that take? At least a step. That's one step, step and a half, right? But this is why I like doing it. I catch the ball. It's like a quarterback. What does a quarterback do? They don't go hike and throw, do they? They get right away. They're here. Then as soon as their feet are set up, then they throw, right? So what I like doing, no matter where I'm at, I like coming right to the shoulder, right? I'm not going to do this. I mean, I'm going to do this when in between hop comes. I'm going to do that instinct. I'm always going to give. I don't know. My 10-year, you know, whatever. He's 5 years old. You're probably doing that. That's instincts. That takes care of it. But if I'm always doing this, I want to do that because look at the difference. I can't get down now, but I can get up. That much difference. That's a half a hop. But if I always do this, I do this. That comes to the last second, right? When you do that. But if I'm always doing that, I'm not going out. I'm not going to be able to go, oh look, now I can turn that ball into in between a hop, and I can reach out and do a short hop. But I have to be ready for it. I got to practice being out here, practice being here. And it's like, you know, anybody have a dog at home? Right? Instead of using the grass, goes on the concrete. Right? So you got to get the shovel out, and you got to make sure you get low, otherwise you got big old skid marks everywhere, don't you? Right? So I want to go low and get underneath it. Right? You got to get under, get scoop and sand, and get dirt, get underneath that thing. So I want to stay low. I don't want to go high. Right? And then when I get the ball, I want to curl. What happens? The ball's up here. I want to curl. What happens with the ball when it's up in your webbing? It'll find you. It'll come down to me. Right? So if I'm going here, and if I separate, and if I can't find it, I've had balls where I get it, and I can't find it yet, and I get my feet set, and no one even knows the difference. But if I wait down here, and then I do it, everybody's in the world's going to know I didn't find the ball. So I'm going to curl up here only because, and I'm not going to do this, because you know what's going to happen? It's going to go over my right shoulder. I'm just going to curl it up. That's what I said about the scooping thing. I want to scoop and go here and come right to my shoulder. Now look what happens when I'm here in my shoulder, guys. I'm squared up. I just got to wait for my feet to be here. So I'm here. If I do it here, I'm not squared up. This always does. This always got me to where it squares me up. This is like a quarterback. They're already here. So all I'm doing, once I get the ball, I'm waiting for my feet to get underneath me. Once my feet are ready to throw, I'm already cocked and ready to go. Right? So I'm eliminating a process right there. Right there, I'm eliminating another step. If I go get a ball every foot, there's 2 steps. Without doing anything, and I don't have to worry about the long glove. There's things that you can do to cut the time down that runner getting down the line. And now I don't have to rush. I don't have to throw hard, or as hard as I can. Right? Now, I want to practice when I get ground balls. I want to practice at a good, firm 70% effort throw. Right? Not 100, because which one am I more accurate? 70% hit by target, 70 or 100? 70. Right. So I'm going to throw a lot because that's my tempo. If I got to get the ball, that's my tempo. That's my easy one, right? Ground ball, just catch the ball. Don't be a brain. Nothing special. Don't make it up. Don't over rush. Be accurate. There you go. Then I'm going to take ground balls of giving, hey, the guy can run. I got to get rid of it. So you got to get used to letting it fly. But you don't spend as much time on that one. You got to spend more time on just that 70%. Right? Whatever that firmness is, where you can do it all day long. Okay? And that's what you practice, and once it goes, it's just like clockwork. It's just step 1, step 2, 3, here you go. Right? And you know and feel that, and be aware of your internal clock. And what I mean by that is, you know, that guy, without you really looking down the line, you should have a feel of if that guy was a runner, because I evaluated him already, or he's a clogger, what else? Do I need to hurry? And the ground ball and the pace, how far back, did I charge enough to tell you how quick I can get rid of it and how hard do I have to throw? Right? That all has to start getting in play. You got to have that feel, that internal clock. All right? You know, when you're watching a ground ball, you're like going, uh-oh, you know Johnny can run, and this guy's taking, he's sitting back and he bobbles. Everybody in the bench is going, uh-oh, he's beating that out, right? Everybody is. So I got to have in tune with my instincts to understand all the environments of who I'm playing against, and the ground ball and the speed, and how cleanly I caught it, how much I charged it or was able to charge it or not, to where if I got to get rid of it and fire it. But if you got to throw it hard, you got to. But I bet you a lot of times because you're not charging the ball. And if you're not charging the ball, guess where you're playing? You're not going to play short, you're going to play third, you're going to play first, you're going to play outfield, right? Well, let's try it at second, see if you do a Jeff Kent thing, right? Because even that second base, but see where that helps you, even at first and third, if I learn to go forward, I learn to go forward, that only helps everywhere else in the corners because now you're not going to get in between honked, right? You're playing third base, guys, you almost got to throw away mechanics because you're just there, you're a hockey goalie. Sometimes when they hit a BB by you, you throw mechanics out the door because you're just trying to stop it. Now maybe at this age where you're at, you're not seeing anything that's going to eat your lunch right yet, right? So you have a little time, but those BB hard hit balls, you just catch it. Might be one hand, might be don't give me one of these, right? Because then you are going to left field, right? If you're doing one of those stuff and you're afraid of it, time to move about 50 yards back, right? But what you are right there, especially at first, you can just knock it down and go and crawl the first base, he's out, right? And that's going to happen. So in the corners, obviously the ones that are really not hit hard and swinging bunts, that's where playing and working out a shortstop comes in play because now you got to move and then catch a ball, stay balanced, and be accurate, right? So even though that doesn't happen as much, but see if you take ground balls at short, right, you can play anywhere because it's only going to help you everywhere else in the infield, right?
Let's do we got about 9 minutes.
Okay, anybody have any
So
questions?
That's what I'd like to start with, and then I'd like to have you ask some questions of the guys. I want them to write something down, and I want them to see what we're retaining here.
Well, let's, what we'll do is, we mean that, write everything else without cheating. When you're done, just write everything down that you remember we talked about.
So why don't we start with questions first, Tyler? We're gonna go around the room.
You
You
can
gotta
go
come up with
home and
something.
do it, no peeking.
If you're not ready, who's a leader who wants to raise their hand and ask a question?
That's a good question. This guy played big league ball, won the World Series.
Doesn't matter what you ask the question about. Everyone else is right now start thinking about
No
what they
girlfriends,
learned.
no girlfriends, that's a no one rule.
Do you know any like pitching mechanics at all?
No, infielder. You know what I do? I go to a pitching guy. I mean, I scouted, I know, but I know enough to. But you know, I mean, when it comes, there's a level to where I'm not gonna. But there's things I would tell you, hey, you're doing this, doing that, and there's some simple stuff I'd correct. That's for sure. But then when you want to get down to me, I'm not Costco. I don't want to be Costco. I don't want to. You know, that's when you have friends and people else. You have pitching guys that can, it's just like me. Everybody knows hitting, right? Doesn't everybody know hitting? But God, if I listen to some of those hitting instructors like that, they should be sued for malpractice if they were a doctor because they're terrible. I mean, they're saying things that are just not quite right. If you do that, yeah, everybody sees the end results and they understand what you're trying to do, but they're saying something when your mind's working. That's gonna hurt them. You know. So I know enough to kind of get by this stuff, but that's when you start. You start pointing and finding the guy. I know enough to say, hey, you're flying open, you're doing this, but then
All right,
go over there to.
Next question. We got 8 minutes. Anyone? All right, so get on your paper. Give us at least 4 bullet points. Things that you heard tonight.
I'm gonna say 8 to 10.
Yeah, do them all. See what you don't remember. And guys, this is the stuff you always keep. I mean, we go in there, we start getting on the field, you start about hitting. I want to have everybody write down on the way home. What do you remember? Because this way I don't have to say it over again. This way you'll sit there and look back and go, oh yeah, I do remember that. Because then the next time we talk, you add to that list and you pick it up.
We're 1 week from building on this. We're not reviewing this stuff next week. We go right into the next week's curriculum.
We went through a lot of stuff.
Just out of principle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think once we get these points down, they can explain if they have little generic answers. We'll
Well, see, that's a good thing.
Like
too,
it was a
is
good
get them
game,
to-
right, Coach? Good game.
Yeah.
Really?
Good for them to talk about stuff and evaluate. What do you see when you're on the bench? What do you see with this guy's swing? What do you see? And because all of us, and like when I got out of ball, played pro ball and all that stuff, I'm thinking. But it took me years to kind of start learning how to say it in words. I could see it, but then how do you teach it? And see, the more you get to these guys that start talking about it, they're going to be more comfortable, more sure.
Yes.
And that means you're going to know exactly articulate. And yeah, they broke it down. Now they know it. Right? And it's so much better if they get it, if they start talking about it, speaking about it. And when you're really clicking in is when you're listening to the conversation. They're talking about hitting, fielding. Now they're having a conversation about
They
it.
heard more accurate information tonight than probably all the high school fall programs for the last 3 months.
Yeah, I'm teaching these guys
In
this
1 hour.
exactly at the high school level, guys. And so when I get guys there, I get shortstops, everything else, and we'll do some lessons with them and getting off ready for pro ball because they weren't taught any of this. You don't get taught stuff like this or anywhere. They don't have time in college. You don't have time in high school sometimes to really teach you, right? They sit there and like me with pitching. Hey, fix that. Now go ahead because they don't have time. And so when I get these guys in running pro ball and they got all these tools and abilities, I'm talking the same stuff about doing a shortstop as I just told you. It doesn't change. But then they got to go, but it clicks onto them earlier because they're a little more mature after college and stuff like that. But they've never heard of it. But why not be taught early enough?
Jesse, you ready for the first one? Give us what your first point is that you wrote.
When you're feeling
You guys
ground
put
ball,
your pens down. Put your pens down.
when you're feeling a ground ball, keep a loose wrist.
Good call.
It's still
Sam?
as possible.
I
Sam?
said, when you're getting ground ball, go from the ground straight to your road stance. With your shoulders.
Like what? What was the analogy you used?
You don't have to do the dog one. I usually get a
I
laugh
didn't
at
use
it.
an
That's why I say
analogy.
it.
I just said.
What's the other sport and the other position that a person would do that same exact thing? If they go like this.
Start with the Q.
Quarterback in football.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, here
yeah.
you go. Strata.
Even if you're slow, if you have a good jump, you can still beat out a throw.
How would you get a better jump?
Um,
Take more space or lean or what's the best thing?
watch the pitcher and see his move.
You're up.
Okay, hit the ball in the sweet spot.
And how do you do that?
Square up.
Square. How do you
It's like
square? Show
you said
square.
Sweet spot.
Show
I said
square. Show square.
Nope.
No, when you
No.
get to the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Square angle, right? The bat's flat. Right
Here, he's talking about this right here.
Okay.
The
Square
angle
angle.
from here to
Yeah.
here is 45. Next.
Never try and play straight up, play more in the holes.
What's straight up mean?
Like just basically playing exactly where you're supposed to be. Try and play more in the holes so you know you're better.
Not pull side or not on
Yeah.
low.
Nice. That was a great pickup.
When you're on base, try and see the catcher's sign so you can steal on a
That's
changeup
my
rather than a
favorite.
fastball.
Show us two of the signs that he showed.
So pinky and
And what's
then
that? What's a pinky?
it's
Usually.
for a lefty, pick off to first usually,
Good call.
and then a pitch out.
Pitch out was this one, right?
Yeah, it could be this or this.
Okay, okay.
But it's just in general. You gotta, usually everybody's this way, but
Yeah.
you'll find.
I was
some-
just asking what he
there's
saw from
wiggles
you.
or something else. You're going, oh, something.
Everything's
that was
different.
weird. That's gonna tell you something's up, huh?
What's up, Ribble? So, Hayden.
Forward movement on a ground ball
Why we do that?
to take away like steps from the runner.
How many?
2 for each step.
There you go.
Tyler?
I put the difference between soft and hard hands.
Is what?
Like soft is like all loose and like the wrist, and then hard is like all
Stand up and show it. Loose.
Mr. Talkative.
Because it's important.
After like when you're down and not like you can like move your wrist when you like get a ground ball and then
Yeah.
you're like stiff and like
Show us what a high hand is. Remember he said don't use a high hand? What's a high hand? Okay, so like, remember?
Oh,
He
yeah.
said go down like you're shoveling poop.
Get way out there.
That's
It always goes.
So listen, guys, here's the
Yeah,
next
leverage
important
over that.
thing. The reason I asked you guys to bring notepads and pens is to probably, and I don't know, maybe they'll give a different way of teaching or whatever, but you might want to make a couple notes. I saw some guys right now that have 8 or 10 things, which is to me amazing. I don't think I would have come up with 3 or 4, but we had a couple that maybe came up with 1 or 2. So make some notes if you need to, because this is modular teaching. What he's teaching today goes right into next week is chapter 2. So, and
You
anyone,
keep this book here with you because on the way home, You're not gonna do it on the field, but on the way home, every time you write it down, you might remember tomorrow something. The more you write down, the more you're gonna remember it more. You're gonna be able to go back on it, right? Okay, and eventually this is gonna be old news. But this way here, just like when we talk about hitting stuff, that never changes, right? Never changes. Because you know what? You're gonna get stronger. Now you have other issues. So hitting just goes on and on and on. The more you can put pen to paper, the more you're gonna know about it. You're gonna really know and absorb it more. You will.
And the other
Okay.
thing is, guys, that big leaguers, college players, and some high school players have logbooks. Pitchers have logbooks, catchers have logbooks, hitters have logbooks. Okay, so if you have a chance, get a little notebook. Doesn't have to be expensive. When you're done with your game or you're done with your at-bat, make a little note of what happened, good, bad, and different. And then afterwards, you can review it and you can talk to guys like that are professionals that know, and maybe they can help you with whatever the thing is, the thought that's going through your head or the mechanic thing or whatever it is. Video is a very helpful tool as well.
Yeah,
Any
because
things
got
to
the iPad
summarize?
stuff like that. It's good stuff right there. Once you have the ability to strength and everything else, hitting's all mental. Because what's the difference? Because the pitchers are trying to mess with your timing. You're trying to get on timing. Sometimes you're lacking confidence at that day or whatever else. The bat feels heavy, feels light. You got to evaluate everything. What am I doing, right? The more confident you are, you can stand on your head. When you're hitting, when you're hot, guys, stand on your head and hit, huh? What's the difference then? You didn't lose a limb or nothing. It's because we all have that monkey out there saying, hey, you can't hit. No, shut up. Yeah, you can't hit. You want to get them off. Get that monkey off your back. You got to just start fresh. You got to, and that's why talking and looking, evaluating, and being relaxed will let you hit.
Let's go to the coaches real quick. I'll go first. Thing that I heard that I thought was awesome is your comparison from bunting and fielding is that you basically have numbness.
Yeah.
And you're basically absorbing with numbness and looseness. So I think that's an amazing thing. Did you have any, Coach?
No, what was the most difficult pitch for you to hit?
I think the best one is a change. No, best pitch in the world is a changeup. That's the best pitch in the world because it's a illusion. Because you can throw, if you throw harder, I just got to start earlier. I got to lean earlier, right? If I throw a curveball, I just got to not bail and do that. I got to stay in it. But a changeup, you cannot believe your eyes. Once you've seen the big leagues and you watch and see it, and you see a guy like, I mean, you see Hoffman, some of the guys that have just flat out good ones. I played against Doug Jones, had just a nasty one. And you sit there and going, you know it's a changeup, and you're saying to yourself, you're going, don't swing, don't believe your eyes, and you get jammed. Oh, but that's when you just tip that's because it's an illusion. How can you can't. A curveball, I can figure it out and sit on it and look for it, and I'll be okay. I don't care how good that is. If I'm looking for it, it's not messing with my eyes. And that's the easiest for pitchers. That's the easiest one at your age. Fastball change is all you need. Don't need a curveball.
I was just going to tell the
Fastball
pitchers,
changes.
don't rely on that hook all the time.
Hooks are no good, especially at your age. You shouldn't at all. You're 13, right?
All speed is key.
Coach.
Learn how to hit a changeup. This is what's key about playing friendly games, guys. About saying about, okay, we're going to swing 3-0. We're going to play not to lose, but we're not going to play all in to win. All right? So we're going to learn. This is what they do as soon as you sign a pro contract, first year out. I don't care if I have a Josh Beckett curveball. You know what you're throwing? Fastball changeups. Because you know what that high school coach or college coach told you to throw? Curveball, 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 curveball. They want to stretch your arm out. You will not throw harder by throwing up too many curveballs. Plus, there's a lot of guys in AAA that just die there throwing 95, 96. All right? There are. Right? And the difference is because they got to learn the hitters, 95, 96, I can reverse that because now you got to learn to pitch with fastball changeups. They learn to teach you to understand of getting hitters out here and out there. It's not so much curveball doing that because the good hitters will sit here and just take it, right? So I wanted to hitters. What we want to do? We want to stop ourselves and get it out there. But what you got to do as pitchers, I could throw three types of fastballs. But look at Maddox did. He would say that he used to throw 94, 95. When he was older, he's throwing 81, 83. But he would touch 85, 86, but then he'd go back down to 81, 83. He'd throw a little here, and then he'd smell and feel that guy. Oh, they're a little closer to timing. And then he'd go, well, now he's got to speed one up. And all of a sudden, oh wait, gosh, dang it. Then then mess with the timing. It's all about messing with the timing. Hitters, we want to get on timing. And the more you figure out when do I start, when this guy's arm action, when do I start my pick a spot. Because I tell you what, for all my days, no one taught me that. And I'm not saying I would have made a difference. I think so. But all it is, watch, when do you really start? Because what we always do, I don't know, it's like a feel. When he starts going forward, I just kind of go. But if you particularly really take a spot of when do I start in this guy's arm action, you get somebody when you get in high school and you guys are getting a little more physical. These guys are gonna throw slow. You will almost right on release of going forward, of going backwards. I tell you what, even the younger ones, I got my 10-year-old, because they throw like rainbows, right? So I try to tell him, don't even start until he releases it, because they got all day to go, right? And so if you learn hitters to understand the concept of timing and get yourself on timing, pitchers is when we do and we play friendlies, we're gonna go, hey, fastball change, that's all you gotta go. Because somewhere down the road, we might as well learn now when no one's, we're not playing for a trophy, we don't have a college guy, we're not trying to make a team, want to learn how to throw a fastball in a fastball count when the whole world knows fastball's coming. That's when you're successful, right? And my key is where I want first pitch strike every time. It's not going to happen. Like I want hits every time, but that should happen more than anything, right? That's the key to success, right? I want everybody out in 5 pitches. Either hit the ball fair, strike something. 5 pitches, right? Because then after 5 pitches, 15. Hopefully people behind me catch the ball. I'm going to get 12 in there, going to get 3, one time's going to be 1. Man, my pitch count's down, right? And then it all adds up to we're later in the game, okay? But I mean, somewhere in the road, we're going to pick a time. You just got to live with it and say, I don't care. I know I had a guy playing in college ball. I tried to talk to him, if you want, and now he's with the Braves. And I try to tell him, I go, just pick this time. Let's go. You have a fastball splitty. He's the UC Irvine closer a couple years ago, Parmenter. I go, you got that, that's good. Yippee yay. Well, how about a third pitch? So let's pick on, you're not allowed to throw your splitter, you gotta throw the other pitch and your fastball. It lasted 2 hitters because all of a sudden 2 guys got hit and the other team was doing this. And he's like, oh, here comes splitter. Well, swing, swing and miss. Well then, what do you learn? Because when he goes up to A-ball, double-A, they're gonna sit there and go, yak. You're not gonna learn nothing. I'd rather get burnt now than be better later. But your peers are sitting there in your ear and you're like, well, here comes the football.
Do good now.
Yeah, I gotta get him out. Well, no, you didn't learn it. This is the best time when he was in trouble. Now adjust. What do you gotta do? You just threw a fastball and somehow, now you gotta learn to throw with a fastball. That's a perfect time to learn, right? And now he's aborted it.
Hey, everybody up, going in that same rotation. Jesse, the first one that shake a hand.
Keep that
Everyone
book
else,
in, you guys, right?
Shake
Keep on
and go
after
right
it.
into the workout. And then some of you have to leave. And this is Ryan Ribble. Ryan, your parents may not have got the email or whatever. We have an extra session on Tuesdays now.
Everybody.
Coach Doug's going to be here every Tuesday
Yeah.
at 6 for us to get a little extra baseball information, especially for those middle infielders like you. This is one of the middle infielders here.
There you go. Better one.